Hello everyone, welcome to video 2 of the Scalp Hair Masterclass, and in this video we're going to be covering shrink wrapping, which is really essential for making scalp hairs. A few things to note is that my Blender file got corrupted in the middle of filming this, so there are points where I will go back and redo something. That's the reason why, and you'll see it later on. Also remember, if you have any questions, suggestions, or anything that could help you or this entire tutorial series, please don't hesitate to leave them down in the comments and I will respond accordingly. Thank you. Also forgot to mention that I got a VTuber, so if you see a little girl in the corner, that's me. That's my VTuber. Welcome back to the Roblox Scalp Masterclass. Yes. So in this episode, we're going to be continuing tips and tricks to make a good scalp hair. And like I've said, we're not going to be making one scalp hair during the duration of this series. I'm just going to show you how to make the scalp hair. Think of it like if you go to fashion school, your teacher's gonna teach you how to make the clothes, but they're not gonna make everyone make the same outfit, are they? No. Exactly. Yeah, so I'm just gonna show you the tools and you can experiment yourself. So, I'm gonna be showing you guys the Shrinkwrap modifier. What is the Shrinkwrap modifier? It is a modifier in Blender that allows you to match the position of a vertex, an edge, or a face to a reference object. So if you think about it like a sticker or like actual shrink wrap, So why do we need this? Because we want to make our hairs lay flat on our scalp base. Of course, this can be used for pieces of hair like I started doing over here with the strands of hair, and it can also be used for a swoop. I'm going to be doing a swoop. I'm going to show you how I do a swoop. Here, this is the reference. Let me just move that away like this. I have a couple of strands here and I just used a plane, and I have shrink wrapping up here. I'm going to show you how I did it, and you'll find that with most scalp hair a lot of it is just planes. Like, you don't really need to do any complex modeling. Okay, what can we use shrink wrapping for? Like I've already showed you, we can use shrink wrapping for the strands of hair. As you can see, it doesn't really matter how close I get to it. Like you can see it's pretty close to the scalp, like it's not lifted. And if I click on it and I turn off the shrink wrap modifier, now it's lifted. How do we do this? First, we're gonna add a plane. RX90, and we're going to import the texture that we made in our last tutorial, or any texture that you have. I'm just going to use my regular texture. Create new texture over here, new texture. Click this, click image texture, and you open it and you just get it usually, but since it's already in the Blender, I'm just going to come over here and look for it. And it's this, right? And this is what it'll look like. Go in UV editing up here, and your UV editing usually is in textured mode, so I just move this to the side. Move both of these to the side and come here. I put it in flat and I put it in texture like so, and I can actually see the hair strand like this. A to select everything, and then come over here. Click A again, S, and then click X to scale it and move it to the hair texture. One thing I want to mention that isn't really, I guess it's technically not a big deal, but I really don't like having multiple highlights in my hair texture. So you see in the hair texture tutorial, we did a lot of highlights, and this is because when you do curly hair or when you do crimped hair, you need a lot of highlights. And it's much easier to just have one hair texture with a lot of highlights than having to make a new texture for crimps. If you want one hair texture with like a couple of highlights like this, let me just go over here. You can have that, like you can have a hair texture that's just this many highlights. I like to keep mine like a lot because it's versatile. If I want to do 3 highlights like this, I just move the thing down and I got 3 highlights. I can scale it and like reduce or increase the size. When you are making a straight hair and you have modeled it in such a way that you have extruded it, so now you have to redo your UVs, you need to keep your UVs really short. If I come here and like I scale it back up like this, the plane takes up a lot of like these highlights. If I Alt Q and select this, the plane like takes up this much highlights, which is 5 highlights. The reality is that this is a lot of highlights, to be fair. It's only this much because I have it bent over the shoulder. You have to look at references and consider how light works. If I did this and I scaled it like this and I moved it down like this, there's a lot more highlights and it's not a huge difference, but personally it just looks better when it's like this. In my opinion, it looks much cleaner than with several highlights. How come I can't redo? Okay, that's crazy. It looks much better like this than if it was like this, with because this just looks like stripes at this point. Like it doesn't look like highlights. This looks like highlights, and this only takes up how many highlights? 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's basically 4. Yeah, that's 4. This takes up 4 highlights, which is the maximum amount. If I come over here and I click Alt Q and I select this only takes up 2 highlights. To be fair, I'll probably change it because like UV editing isn't like it's not the end, right? I can always come back and edit the UVs, but 2 highlights is good. The maximum amount of highlights you should be using on a straight hair is low-key 3, unless the hair is like bending in some way, then you can use more than 3. That's why with curls or crimps, you need to use a lot of highlights to make it look not flat. That's the thing with curls and crimps. Now, if I come here, I'm just going to show you how I make this strand of hair that comes over here. And I'll just hide these because I feel like it's harder to see. Once again, ignore the helmet. It's not going to be like this in the game. It's because my avatar is scaled. And I can actually scale it up. I'm not going to do that because it's not important. Okay. I'll just move this like this. RZ90. And, yo, what happened tonight? Okay, my screen cascades are gone. Hold up. Okay. I don't remember them turning off. I don't know why they turned off, but I'm just going to position it. And I'm going to scale it like this, y-axis like this, and when you scale it like to a thin strip, it's going to look more like hair, obviously. Move it up, come back here. You can switch your view mode like this as well. To be fair, it's probably better to do that. And I'm just going to come into edit mode. As you can see, I'm in edit mode. X-ray mode like this. Select this, like these 2 vertices. These is 2 vertices selected at the same time. Yeah, and I'm gonna extrude them along the x-axis. I'm going to bring it to like here, move it up. Gonna grab these vertices again. Make sure on X-ray mode because you need to grab both of the vertices. I'm gonna move this. Get my loop cut tool. I'm gonna go out of this view. I'm gonna click this. I'm actually gonna go out of X-ray view as well. I'm gonna click that, and what I'm doing is like cutting it to like where the bends are. And I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna cut it here. Then I'm gonna come here and I'm going to go into object mode, go to add modifier, and I'm going to add a subdivision. And that just makes it smooth. Size it to shade smooth. When you extrude, it messes up the UVs, so don't be too bothered about the UVs until you're like not gonna extruding. I'm gonna go back to edit mode and adjust this some more. The position is definitely not right. Hold up. Okay, it's actually not bad. This is where it needs to be. And as you can see, move these like so. For the like both ends of the hair, I always use the vertex crease. You could just add another loop cut, but I'm not doing that. Since I have this subdivided, I can just move this down now. And before you add the shrink wrap, you want to make sure your hair is as close to the thing as possible. If your hair isn't that close, it will still work regardless, because like that's the whole point. But you will get better results if your hair strip, the hair plane is closer to the scalp base. You're gonna have to move this as well because this is where the scalp base rounds out, and it's like this part is like the hardest, I guess, technically, because with this hair strip, it's literally just straight horizontal, and this one as well. As you can see, like the shrink wrap's a little bumpy. I'll fix that, but this is what I got for this. I probably will have to add more loop cuts, but I don't want to increase my triangles just yet. As you can see, I have this like this. I'm going to rotate it on the z-axis and extrude it some more. Like so. And I'm just doing this because I will be adding layers to the hair. Like I know the inspo doesn't really have layers, but I am trying to like not have it be really thin looking. Like I said, don't worry too much about the UVs until you are reasonably done with the modeling, like until you know you're not extruding anymore. I'm gonna extrude one more time just to make another layer, like so. I'm gonna turn my thing back onto flat mode because I couldn't see before. Okay, yeah. Should the hair be flowing like this? I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm just going to mirror it because I need to see how it would look on the other side. And if you remember, we added an empty earlier, so just mirror it to the empty. And we have that piece of hair. I'm gonna go into UV editing because I don't think I'm gonna be extruding anymore. Select everything, UV unwrap again. And as you can see, the UVs the UVs are horizontal, and I don't actually know which one is the top, like this. So if I come over here, I can just select a single face, and I know that that's the top. I select A to select everything. I can come back here and I can rotate it 90 degrees, and the top is at the top. Now, usually, I use this plugin called Mio3 UV. It's a free plugin, and it just does it for me. It just straightens it for me. If you don't have this, you can Shift Alt, select Align Auto, deselect, Shift Alt, select Align Auto, and you have to do it for each of these. So Shift Alt, Align Auto, Shift Alt, Align Auto. There are many UV plugins, and Gridify is like a really it's a really like simple, basic thing to get in a plugin. So get this plugin. It's really good for UVs. Gratify, and it does it for me. And I just come here, and it's actually selected this square here, which is the end, so I know it's facing the right direction. I can come here, I'll scale it down. I'm going to scale it to take up three triangles, 3 highlights. I'm going to scale it to take up 3 highlights. I'm going to move it like so. I'm going to move it like so, like this. And as you can see, it's yeah. This is what it looks like. The highlights don't align up right now. Them being aligned is something that I do. Some people might not for some reason, but I like to have like my highlights follow the same direction. I'm just editing a little bit more of my UV. I mean, my mesh. What? Editing my mesh a little bit and I'm moving stuff around. Don't be scared to add another loop cut because, you know, we're gonna decimate anyway. So, loop cut like so. And depending on the hairstyle, you can add some variance. So it doesn't have to be, like, I'm trying to get it close because I don't want any gaps. But depending on the hairstyle, it may not matter. It might be worth it to do it differently. It doesn't matter, like I said. I'm keeping a distance, and I should probably rescale my model. The reason I'm keeping a distance from the face is because with Cheek's head, it usually clips through the face. I'm just gonna rescale it anyway. The scaling isn't precise. I'm literally just eyeballing it. Like, I know what Cheek's head usually looks like. Hey, wait, this is too big. I know this is too big because the scalp part isn't thick enough. Okay, I guess this is closer to what it would look like. The position isn't like exact either. The best thing to do if you want to get the exact position is to go to your Roblox avatar. And when you go to your Roblox avatar, change your scale back to like the default scale. I don't know what the default scale is, but if you go in characters and if you go in creations and you select like the woman body, just like, you know, like the Roblox default woman body package, import that, then import that same thing but with the Cheek's head. If you don't own the Cheek's head, well, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, okay, so the scaling is not great with this one, but luckily I have an OBJ that I know 100% has correct scaling. Cause like, okay, before I started this tutorial, I used to like use the same Blender file for all my scalp hairs, and that's why, like, yeah, okay. Ignore the change of mannequin. I literally just like imported one of my old mannequins. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to see the blocky head on the woman body. I have let's just get back to the tutorial. I'll sort out the adjustment later. Right now, we have the strip of hair, and the strip of hair is sitting like this on top of the scalp, but it's not actually sitting on the scalp directly. If I change to this, you can see it's obviously not on the scalp, and that's where Shrinkwrap comes in. So with the Shrinkwrap modifier, I just add a new modifier and I call it, I search for it and I search Shrinkwrap. Shrinkwrap is here, and I click this eyedropper and I move it to the scalp base, and the whole thing is gone. But if I bring up the offset, that top part is back. So this top part now is adhered. Adhered is that word? Verb form of adhesive. Adhered. Okay. this top is adhered to the scalp base, which is what we want, but the rest of the hair is gone, and you're like, oh, where's the rest of the hair gone? Because the rest of the hair is also sticking to the scalp base, and that's why it's made this pointy bit here. If you go into edit mode, modifiers don't apply in edit mode, so you can still see we still have the hair strand in edit mode. Well, how do we fix this? Vertex groups. Vertex groups are really useful in, I don't know how to explain this, but basically, when you assign vertices to a vertex group, it makes it so when things happen, you can make things happen to certain vertices or to not happen to certain vertices. So if I want the shrink wrap to only happen to the vertices on the scalp, I come into edit mode and I select like all these vertices up here, and I come here and I select these ones at the top as well, and I can just I can have the shrink wrap only apply to these. How do I do that? I just come in vertex mode, vertex groups, and I assign a new group. And you can name the group if you want to. If you come over here, it's in data, you can name the group. You can call it stick to the scalp. If you don't want to name it, you don't have to. And if I come back to the modifier tab, I can click stick to the scalp, and as you can see, it only applies to the stick to the scalp group. But there's an issue because there is no midpoint between here and here. One way to fix this is to add loop cuts, like so. Right where you want it to end, and then click on the vertex and just disable it from the vertex group, and it should work. Like so. I hope none other ones are affecting it. This one is also being stuck to the scalp, so I can delete it from the vertex group and it will stop me stuck to the scalp. There's this weird dent that appears. There's some ways to fix like the deforming issues. You can change it, like change the wrap method. Nearest vertex usually doesn't work, so it's usually between nearest surface point or target normal point, target normal project. It's usually nearest surface point though. The other way to fix this is just to click the one right above it and reduce the vertex weight influence, and it doesn't stick. It allows this to not stick to the scalp. Oops. It allows this to not stick to the scalp because, as you can see, if I set it to 1, it's stuck to the scalp. If I set it to 0, it's like, this is like a meter for how much shrink wrap it has. And you might find that changing that fixes it, like so. Or sometimes you just have to move it closer to the scalp and it gets a better estimation. And yeah, that's it. Sometimes you really just like have to move the vertices, and that's why I said like the closer it is to the scalp, the better the shrink wrap looks. This shrink wrap isn't super close to the scalp at this point because these points are like the curves, right? And that's how I modeled them. You can move them close to the scalp or whatever. I'm gonna move everything in general because it's overlapping, and just move this to the front. But also because like the hair shape I want needs to be moved back a little. In this tutorial, I'm being like super gracious with the triangles. I usually just BS it, and the triangles usually, like, I don't care. Like, I tried, because I don't like having to optimize, so I don't try to give it as many triangles as maybe I should. But for this tutorial, I'm having a change of heart because I'm not trying to make a bad hair. And as you can see, if you look at the ref, the hair is too forward. This hair has a swoop in it, which I will be making. But right now, there's no space for a swoop because it's too forward. I'm just going to be moving these vertices back and up. Like I said, this part of the hair is trickiest because this is where it curves to the front. So it's just like the shrink wrap's just worse at estimating. If you add a vertex cut through the middle like so, it usually fixes it. But I don't want there to be too many triangles. This is already 640. If I had the vertex cut, it's going to be 1,280, which is way too many. It's way too many. So we're not gonna do that. If it's getting on your nerves how it's like not like 100% smooth, you can add a loop cut now and just delete it when you're optimizing it. It's just not getting on my nerves though, so actually it's low-key getting on my nerves when I think about it. I'm gonna push this back some more because the hairstyle, and I have it like so. Oops, that is really chopped. Okay, there's still like some choppiness here. You can add more loop cuts to remedy this, or you can just wait till we're done with the shrink wrap and fix it. I'm gonna admit I usually like leave the choppiness in until I'm absolutely done, and then I just like apply the shrink wrap and fix it manually. Like I smoothing it out manually, but I don't think that's gonna help for this one time. Maybe I should have added a middle loop cut low-key. Anyway, this is what I have, and it's somewhat smooth. I'm not too bothered about it. Like, it's not like getting on my nerves or anything. Just gonna move these, and like I said, if you've ever made a regular hair or watched a regular hair tutorial, there's a point in the tutorial where we join all the planes together by merging the vertices. It takes a minute to do, but we do have to do it regardless. And that's why I don't really care right now where it is, because I know I'm gonna merge it anyway. However, you should care. Like, don't be like me. Don't be like me. You really should care. I'm trying to like get this as voluminous as I can without having look at too different from the reference hairstyle. So I'm gonna unwrap again because yeah, okay. This is what this looks like. Whoa! It was at this point that my Blender file corrupted, and while I had been seeing some of the signs, I didn't notice. Okay, y'all, my Blender got corrupted. I probably cut it out of the video, but I tried to import an older like OBJ into the scene because I was testing out something, and I'm pretty sure it corrupted my Blender file. I can still open it, but like that thing that appeared on top, that was so spooky. I don't know what that was. Okay, it's fine. We still have our stuff, and we have our scalp base. I must be chopped because I forgot to consider the cheek's head. Remember to always consider the cheek's head when you make your scalp hairs. I low-key think this is like, it's low-key getting a little far from the reference because I want to add layers. I think I'll just move this back in. I'm not trying to do too much. Okay. Your friendly reminder that if you already know how to model and you're good at it, you're probably better than me, and you probably don't need this tutorial for real. But yeah, I'm making it anyway. As you can see, I've just adjusted it to not look dumb with the other strand, because this other strand is visually bigger and you can kind of tell. But I'm just gonna UV unwrap it again, and this time actually I'm gonna try to get it to match up with the others. How do I get it to match up? Okay, I just come here and I disable all the overlays with this button, and as you can see, I can get a clear view of the scalp. Realistically, you don't want it going over it and there being like this much scalp showing, I usually put it to like here, and I haven't done that for these ones, by the way. I usually have it like have the roots like sticking up over it a little bit, and what I do is that I select this edge and I just drag it down and it closes it in, and yeah, it does that. I do want to make it match with this next hair because I like where this highlight is. So I grab the next group of vertices and I just move them. That's it. Like, that's how you do this thing. You just move it, and slowly it'll match up. You can scale them as well to make them smaller or bigger, depending on your depending on where you want the highlights to be. You can change that too. If I want this highlight here, which, to be fair, I think I would appreciate if all the highlights were a little higher up. So I think I'm just gonna move everything down. Yep, that's what I need to do, and I get it on this edge, like so. Just like that. This needs to be scaled probably. If you know a way to copy honestly, if you know a way to copy the UVs from one scalp perfectly, from one plane to the other, then do it. I don't know how to do it because if it doesn't have the same number of faces, it doesn't work. There might be another way. And yeah, that's low-key where I'm at. I need to probably make this bigger actually. And I just do this and move it up like so? Question mark? I don't usually have the ends have highlights. Maybe just like a little bit of highlight. It doesn't crazy. It kind of does look better in game when I cut it up. If you liked the old hair shape, I'm sorry. I just wanted to be more loyal to the reference. Y'all, I suck at following references. I'm just gonna say it right now. I just do my own thing for real, for real. But I wanted it to be layered because I didn't want it to be too basic. And that's how you do that. I'm just gonna fix up ear. If you haven't done a lot of UGC before and you haven't done a lot of merging vertices or regular hair, I would recommend you try to get it as accurate as possible in this stage, because after we apply the shrink wrap, it's very I don't know how to put it. You can't it's harder to change your mistakes. You can still reapply the shrink wrap, of course, but it's different, right? You have to work with all the hair strands are closer together and stuff. I don't know how to explain it, but if you don't want to do everything manually and make it super tedious, then don't. You don't have to. There's a lot of choppiness with this. It doesn't matter, like I said, because it especially doesn't matter in the back because I'm going to merge it with the other vertices. Like I said I would. Let's move this back. Y'all, maybe I'm not that good of a teacher. Maybe I shouldn't be making these tutorials because like I said, I'm not too precise. I'm not very precise with the stuff I do. It's a weird shape out of the back right now because I'm not done. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not done. And that's how it is. It's a simple straight hair. I could have made it one plane. I didn't need to use this. I could have just used this and made it come forward a little bit more. But I like layers. Even though the original hair doesn't really have layers, I like layers. Nevertheless, I'm gonna come here and select this end and turn up the vertex crease to 1. Slant it down a little bit probably. I really wish I could tell you exactly what I'm doing, but I'm gonna be honest. Listen, I haven't been a straight hair in a minute, so you're gonna have to bear with me. It takes me a week usually to make a hair because I just go away and I come back, and go away and come back, and I make changes. I can't do that here because I need to finish this tutorial. I need to get it out. I've been making a video to show you how to finish our hair, if you will. So we're gonna be optimizing this hair. If you want the scalp to look like less of a bald spot, you can. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. Like I said, it's your hair. You can do whatever you want with your hair. And I think I'm actually gonna push this in a little bit more because it looks less like, it looks better. Like it looks less like a bald spot, like a line down middle. It's also not merged, so I'm gonna merge that really quick. This the mirror. Just gonna turn it up like that. Okay. And if you think this part is too wide for you, just do what I did and move the first 2 edges in UV editing, like so. I'm just gonna do it anyway because who cares? And you can move this one as well. Don't like where it's at, but be careful because it also moves that first highlight, which I find really finicky. I could always just add another loop cut here, but let's fix this one too. I do have overlays turned off. I'm just clicking A to select everything, by the way. This one needs to be much lower because it's low-key giving alopecia. Unless that's what you want to give, all power to you. If you do want to give alopecia, if you wanted to give alopecia, then you know, it's your hair. Do whatever you want. I just moved those 2 vertices, and I'm not super precise with the positioning. It's literally just it's like no one notices it. This is as even as you can make it, and for it to be like noticeable, unless like most person buying it is like really weird about highlights. Then also low-key, I think I'm gonna add a 3rd highlight because this hair is kind of long, so I think I'm gonna add another highlight, but I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, when it comes to scalp, sometimes I can be kind of lazy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna show you how I make swoops. So select this scalp base, and we're literally just gonna apply the scalp base. We'll apply the mirror. I think that the texture is still gonna be symmetrical. So like you have to think about these things. I'm gonna be making a swoop, and that usually calls for an asymmetrical texture. But if the swoop is covered up by like strips of hair, I can leave it symmetrical. In which case, I would just leave it unwrapped. It's already unwrapped, so I'll just unwrap it again. Oh, whoops. I don't want to apply the subdivision, y'all. Like, I'm not trying to. You can apply it if you want. Actually, I will apply it, because, yeah, I'll apply it. It's fine. I'll apply subdivision here, and that's what it does. As you can see. Now, if I unwrap it and it unwraps smoothly, if I scale the texture down a bit, this is nothing like the hair textures I used to make. Okay, there's something severely wrong with this scalp base, and I haven't like found out why. I don't know what's up with my blender. Everything is just going wrong. Okay, let me just move this up. See how it's like not letting me color pick it? Like, what's going on? Okay. No, what? Okay. I'm genuinely gonna lose my mind. Yo, I told you. Like my blender is corrupted. Like, oh my gosh, okay. Whatever. Y'all. Y'all, I think my blender is corrupted. I'm not going to lie to you. And because I didn't notice, I didn't save. My blender usually doesn't crash, so saving isn't like a habit for me. But I really should have been saving because I lost the last 20 minutes of work. So I had to go back and fix some stuff. If you see anything different, that is the reason why. We have a shrink wrapped hair because we use shrink wrap on this part of the hair, and the issue now is that we have 2 bald spots. So we have the front and we have the back. I think I'm gonna do the back first. So with the back, you can add another plane and you can just extrude it with the plane, but what I do sometimes is that I just select these vertices like so, Control Shift and I select these and I duplicate them and I extrude them. Actually, I usually extrude everything. I usually don't add new planes at all because that's just more tedious. And if I move it like this, I can kind of get it closer to the scalp, like so. And what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna separate them so these aren't the same plane. So I selected this entire line and I did like that. P, separate. Everything separated like so. Okay. I have to UV unwrap anyway, so I don't really care about the UVs at the moment. I'm just gonna extrude it down once again. And I'm going to bring this in. And I'm going to turn up the vertex crease over here. And this is going to come together in the middle, and I don't know how else to explain it, but it's going to be like a point in the middle. If you ever look at a hair, it has that point in the middle where all the hair pieces come together, and that's what I'm trying to do. It's not smooth right now, and I'm just going to make it a little bit smoother. You might have to add more loop cuts here because once again, the back is a curve. Okay, and that's how we're here, and it's a little messy. Shade smooth, go to UV editing, A to select everything, and UV unwrap angle based. A, gridify, please, please, please get this plugin, please. And select everything like this. Scale Y, scale X, and have it roughly match. It doesn't have to be exact right now because I'm going to edit the UVs anyway. I'm going to do the extruding again. So I select Shift Alt and I select this whole line and I Shift D to duplicate and I extrude it on the X-axis and I bring it out on the Y-axis and I push these ones back in. I can use L to select this actually, and I P to separate, like so. Object mode, edit mode, you bring it back in. I'm just gonna move it around a little bit. Do this and do this and do this. And I realized that the scalp, it looks a little funky. It looks a little funky on cheeks, I guess, but honestly, I don't really care at this time. Make it straight, make it me, honestly. I think I'm gonna merge this final one and it's gonna be like the last piece. Also, if I needed to curve, actually I don't think it needs to curve more, but I can always just add another loop cut and it will be curved. Okay, so I wasn't able to record the microphone at this part, so I'm just gonna be doing this voiceover. I didn't do much. All I did really was move the vertices into place and UV edit the part where the scalp rounds out, like at the back, and that's how I create that like pointy effect. And you can watch the video and you can watch exactly what I did, but this part up to where I start talking again, all I've done basically was edit to the plane in edit mode. This part is basically just me walking through my process of making a swoop for the hair. When I started the swoop, I made sure to apply any modifiers, also edit the UVs just to make sure everything is in place for when I want the texture. With this specifically, all I had to do was apply the mirror modifier so I can edit one side of the scalp base without it affecting the other side. and apply the subdivision as well. So what I do is that when I apply the mirror, I come here and I move it in the shape of a swoop. When moving it in the shape of a swoop, I have to like remember and like take into consideration how swooped I want it to be, like how much swoop I want. Whoa, okay. Okay, so basically, I'm gonna keep the swoop like this for now. If I want to change it, I will. I'm also going to import my avatar with a makeup face because I need to see what it looks like with the makeup face. Okay, so what I have here is an annotation of me just like showing what I want to do. You can see the outline for the swoop. You can see where I'm going to put the edge. You can see like the direction of the hair strands. So like I'm going to do the swoop there and I'm going to do that. As you can see for the swoop, I've just duplicated one of the planes that I have and like kept only 2 vertices at the top and scaled it down to follow the curvature. The reason that I used like the existing plane is just because I didn't want to apply all the modifiers again. Treat this like the rest of your hairs and just extrude them. They're like, it already has a shrink wrap, so you could just extrude it and everything will be stuck to the scalp. And what you want to do is follow the general shape of the swoop, and that's why we shaped the scalp first before making the swoop. And I just do that. And now we have something of the sort. You can reduce the shrink wrap just to take it underneath. And of course, the shade smooth. Like so. You might need to add another one like there. And UV unwrap, and that's that. And I'm just gonna rotate this and redify, and this is what it looks like. do this to move it so it's just perfect. And that's how you do a swoop. And look, it looks nice, it looks clean. Nothing wrong with this swoop. I usually do one highlight. To be fair, I probably should do one highlight, or I should move the highlight down. To highlight, just bring the second one here, so it can have some definition. And yeah, that's gonna do for now. Can come back. Oh, whoops! That means I can come back here and move the vertices still, and fix these little pieces that don't quite cover the scalp. And that's how you do this. Look at it now. It looks good. It's cool. Everything is fine. I can't actually tell what the top of the head looks like because she's wearing a headband, so I can't. This is tilted. It is. So I can't tell what the top of the head looks like, but otherwise it's fine. We can adjust the back. This is not straight by any means. It should be like this. However, I cannot fix it in this moment because it would make the most sense to fix it after I've applied the Shrinkwrap modifier. And for the other parts, I'm gonna just duplicate this. I just wanted to add that this part is like mostly silent because I didn't really have much to say. But as you can see, I've done that, like that strip of hair to go behind the ear. You can make it drop down like the rest of your regular strips if you want. I just wanted to make it go behind the ear because I don't know, I felt like it. It looks a teeny tiny little bit different from the reference, but that is because I will be drawing the edges, and that's going to be the visible part. As you can see, I've outlined the visible part. That's where the edges are going to be. So yeah, that is all for this tutorial. So as you can see, I have shown you different ways you can use the Shrinkwrap modifier, and you are not just limited to the things that I've shown. Of course, you can use these for all sorts of things to do with scalp hair. And in the next video, I'm going to be going over how to make the ends of the hair. That one's gonna be a bit of a shorter video. Thank you for watching. See you later.